Shalom and namaste everyone. Today I'm going to talk about a topic a lot of you have asked me to talk about, which is comparing the education and academy systems both in India and in Israel. Let's start right from the beginning with elementary and high school. So India has 1 million students. Yeah, you heard that correctly, 1 million students. And in Israel, we're a much smaller country, like we don't have the same numbers. But when it comes to ambitions, well, Israeli parents want their child to be a doctor even before he know how to spell the word doctor. In India, from what I understood from people I talked to and what I saw for myself, the educational system is a little bit more let's call it tough, especially when it comes to tests like the GEE or the NEET. Like children start to learn from early in the morning until late in the evening to prepare to those tests. And in Israel, like we have finals, but we're more of like a pull-in all-nighter the day before the exam to pass it. So in those methods, it's really difficult to compare, because Israelis seem like, at least in elementary and in high school, Israeli children doesn't have the same toughness in their upbringing. And now let's make it all the way to a big place, what most of you are actually asking, which is the academy. Now in India, we have the big institutions like the IIT, which is one of the most biggest engineering institutions in all of the world, and it's highly respectable, and it's really difficult to get in there. And in Israel, I mean, we might be a smaller country, but we have the Weizmann Institute in Rehovot or the Technion in Haifa. Those places are actually producing a lot of researchers. What a tough word to say in English. I'm sorry, you guys know my English is terrible. But those people are actually managed to reach the world class of in the field of science and technology. And those people manage to create things that make our life more convenient. For example, Waze, because no one likes to be in traffic. Now let's talk about the approach. If you guys saw my videos from before, and you saw sometimes I'm doing the live streams, and I talked to 2 students from Kota. I also watched the Kota factory, and after this I realized that the students in India has so much pressure, and it's studying there is a very serious deal, and entire families are recruiting to help the child succeed and pass the test. And if a child is getting accepted to the IIT, it's like he won the Oscar there. Now in Israel, the system is a little bit more flexible. There's a lot more place for creative thinking, and the vibe is if you didn't understand something, ask. Try, and then if you fail, you know what not to do. It's part of the learning experience in Israel. And something really important to remember, that after high school, the Israeli people are going to the military and to the national service. The people in India, they don't have that, so they can go immediately to the academy. That's why you're gonna see more young people in the Indian academy. And when you go into Israel, it's not that weird to enter a class and see a lot of parents with their babies there, because in here everyone is learning at their own pace and their own path in life. This is why, by the way, guys, if a lot of you send me messages about how you want to study in Israel, but you think you might not gonna fit in because you're older, maybe you don't have the right resources. I don't know. First of all, I put a link if you want to study in Israel, a link in the description. But also know that it doesn't matter how old you are. If you want to get education, you can. Don't say I'm too old to get education. In Israel, there's students in the academy who's 80 years old. It's totally okay. You can also be over 80. As long as you want to study that will be okay. So at the end of the day, Israel and India are very different in the whole like education and academy and approaching to learning ways. However, they're also like completing each other. India is bringing more like seriousness and study really hard, and Israel is more about like be creative and think outside of the box. But if we're gonna put like Indian seriousness with Israelis thinking outside the box education to like we can create like an Israel-Indian school with has those two methods in it, I think we can create a place who will be raising a lot of youth that will at the end of the day change the world, because they have both ways of growing up, and that's pretty cool. So thank you so much for watching this video. If you want to study in Israel, like I said, I put a link in the description. I don't know them, but I've seen a lot of good things about them. If you are like, please write down in the comments about your personal experience with the educational system or academy. It's okay if you didn't attended the academy, all good. I still want to educate myself about your culture and what you're having. If you enjoyed this video, please leave it a like, because that helped me reach out more people, and then we can build our community and educate each other even more. And yeah, I'll see you next video. Bye everyone.